Hello my dear students and welcome to English Honeydew, and we are doing Unit 3 Glimpses of the Past, and it's the third part. Okay, first and second part was the poem Macavity the Mystery Cat, and this is the third part. Now we will be doing this prose. Glimpses. Glimpses means just a glance, just a view of our past. You know, India has a very colorful history. Very colorful, why I said? Because so many things had happened, but we Indians have been so strong that our spirit of not giving up has always helped us to succeed. That's a different story, that we took 100 long years to fight from the Britishers, and today India is a free nation. So this story summarizes about all those 100 years. 100 years between 1757 to 1857. Okay, so what all things happened? How Indians established their trade in our country, and how they started exploiting our people, how they started killing the artisans, the skills which they had, and how they established their company in our country. The whole story is about between 1757 to 1857, and as we read, we'll come to know about some of the freedom fighters who have fought very bravely with the Britishers. So it's a summary of our history, and I'm sure many of you have read all these things in your social studies also. So this is just a revision. Now, how this chapter is special from other chapters, because here there is a pictorial representation. You'll find some speech bubbles and all, which makes a story more interesting. You know, there are some books, there are different ways of writing stories, but you find some books in which you have got speech bubbles. Okay, तो मज़ा आता है read करने के लिए, क्योंकि you know you don't have full paragraph there. Pictures are there and one or two lines are there. So it is easy to understand as because the pictures are there, and at the same time some conversation, some speech bubbles are used. So this chapter is one among that. Now I'll show you the introduction of this chapter. The lesson gives us a description of events that took place in our country from 1757 to 1857. Okay, the story about 100 long years. It enlists incidents that led to widespread revolt known as the First War of Independence. Okay, so the First War of Independence took place in the year 1757. We will be reading the chapter, so you'll come to know. It provides a glimpse of how the British East India Company expanded its power in India. That's how the story all started, with the establishment of East India Company. They just came to India for trade purpose, and we never thought that they would be here for 100 long years, and we Indians would be struggling. So many of our freedom fighters have sacrificed their life to get the freedom. We are really indebted to all of them. How they exploited Indians. Okay, what all tortures Indians have to go through because of their strict rules, because of their very partial rules for Indians and for white people. How they robbed landlords and farmers of their land. It's a true story of exploitation. Okay, it's very clearly evident they just used Indians and they benefited. They took a large amount of money from making the Indians work hard. How they created situations that led to famines, etc. Famines means people were dying because of hunger. There was no food. Okay, so it was only for Indians. They had enough food and all, but they created the situations for Indians to die. Now, the first page itself is about a very beautiful song sung by the nightingale of our country. Who is she? Lata Mangeshkar. So, we salute all our heroes. Here you can see the freedom fighters of our country. I have just put the pictures of very few. There are many more. Okay, it's a story of 100 long years, and we Indians have never given up. They were continuously fighting against the Britishers till their last breath. So, here I have just a few of them. Now, here you can see Lata Mangeshkar singing this patriotic song, "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo," and next to her you can even see our first Prime Minister of our country, and who is he? Yes, Chacha Nehru, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. The story of the song. So, before we proceed with the chapter, I'll just give you the brief story behind this song, "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo." The patriotic song was written by poet Pradeep. He was the person who has actually written this poem, the lyricist of this poem, after 1962 Indo-China War. Okay, during that time there was a war held as a tribute to the soldiers who had died defending the country. So, this is the main story behind "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo." So, after that war there were many soldiers who had been martyred. So, after that this song was written by Pradeep. On 27 January 1963, the melody queen of India, Lata Mangeshkar, sang the song in public for the very first time in the presence of Nehru, our first Prime Minister, and other eminent dignitaries during the Republic Day celebration. Pradeep sir has written it immediately after that war because he was very emotional. Whenever a soldier is killed, we become very sad. So, he has written that lyrics of that poem, but during the Republic Day celebration, Lata Mangeshkar ji, she sang this song at the National Stadium in New Delhi. The Prime Minister was moved to tears upon listening to the song. So, this is poet Pradeep and Lata Mangeshkar ji. The chapter, Glimpses of the Past. Before you read, here are some pictorial glimpses. Pictorial means, as I have explained before, pictures are given. Some books have got pictures. It is very easy to understand us. Pictorial glimpses of the history of a country from 1757 to 1857. These pictures are speech bubbles. So, what are we call all these pictures? These are actually speech bubbles. Will help you clarify. See these pictures, and here in between, can you see these speech bubbles where it's written something about that picture, or there is a conversation, will help clarify your understanding of the conditions that led to the event known as the First War of Independence in 1857. So, when is the First War of Independence took place? 1857. So, first is the martyrs. Martyrs are the people, those who have sacrificed their life for the freedom of our country. So, here at a function in Delhi, now there is a speech bubble. "Oh my countrymen, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifices of India's martyrs." Now, this is actually translation of that Hindi song, "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo." And here you can see in the picture there are some freedom fighters. Here you can see Rani Lakshmi Bai is there, first Prime Minister of India, Nehru ji is there, then Mahatma Gandhi, father of our nation, Subhash Chandra Bose is there, Bhagat Singh is there. So, these are some of the people. They are depicting that so many people have sacrificed their life for the freedom of our country. The company's conquest. Conquest means victories. And which company? East India Company. The victories of Britishers, or we can call it as East India Company, and that is between the year 1757 to 1849. With its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extending the power in 18th century. He came to just do some trade with India, but slowly, gradually they started establishing their company here, and it started extending its power by 18th century. Now this is the map, India during the year 1765. You can see Indian princes, the yellow part, and British territory is such a small part. But gradually British territory becomes, Britishers starts ruling almost all over India. Now in the second part you can see Indian princes were short-sighted. Okay, they never thought what was the intention of Britishers. Okay, they could only see what was presented before them, but they were not knowing that they were taking, Britishers were taking advantages of them. That upstart Raja Ba call the British merchants, they will help me to defeat him. Okay, you know what was the policy they applied? Divide and rule. Okay, and because Indian princely states, they had fight between other states and all, and this advantage was taken by Britishers, and they helped other kings and prince to win the small war, and gradually they took over. The people had no peace due to such constant fights. Okay, continuous there were wars happening. The rivalries, जो दुश्मनी थी, helped the East India Company, and it could easily subdue Indian princes. They could overpower them one by one. A far-seeing ruler like brave Tipu of Mysore, Tipu Sultan of Mysore, fought the British till he died fighting. There were some kings and some princes, those who were knowing what was the real intention of Britishers. So they have not given up, they fought with them. And then you can see the next one. Thank God, there is peace in the country now. No more wars and no looting by thugs. Okay, these dacoits were looting the people. Okay, they were taking their money, their jewelry and all. How did Indians react to these conquests? Okay, one more speech bubble is there. Our destiny is linked with them. It is God who sent the British. Some people, because they were not knowing the real idea behind it, so they were thinking that ki hame to unse jeetne ko mil raha hai, so they thought it's a blessing for them, but they were not knowing that they have not come to help them but to conquer a country. Now moving on to the next one. The white man has killed or dethroned our kings. Okay, उनको गद्दी में से ही हटा दिया जाता था. Either they were killing them or they were taking their kingdom by some way or the other. Some kings were not good, but after all they were of this land. Okay, some had evil intentions with them. They were not good, but we cannot forget that they are part of our land. Now we have become slaves of foreigners. Okay, so this is how slowly, gradually East India Company started establishing, ruling over our land. The remaining part we will be doing later on, but this is not the end. We will be doing the question answers. Page number 45, question number 1. Look at picture 1 and recall the opening lines of the original song in Hindi. Who is the singer? You know by now. Who else do you see in this picture? So the opening lines of the original song in Hindi are "ए मेरे वतन के लोगों तुम खूब लगाओ नारे." It's a very beautiful song. If you get the time, do Google it out and try to listen this song. It's very meaningful. It was sung by Lata Mangeshkar. We see Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Lal Bahadur Shastri and Mrs. Indira Gandhi in this picture. In picture 2, what do you understand by the company's superior weapons, high quality arms and ammunitions? The East India Company conquered India by using their superior weapons, the guns and diplomacy. Okay, they were very diplomatic in nature. So children, homework for today's session is in comprehension check. Which is there on page 45. You will be doing question number 1 and 2 in notebook. Write it down in your notebook. Is it clear, children? So, bye, take care and may God bless you.